Hello and welcome to your favorite technology show, Tech 360. My name is Aayush Ailawadi. I'm here in Maximum City, where we say Mumbai's winters are upon us. Winter is coming because temperatures are slowly falling, and this is about as cold as it gets in this coastal city. But because we have the coast and the sea, and of course, geography on our side, AQI levels don't necessarily go above a certain level. I mean, it's not like it's the best, but right now, as we're shooting over here, it's around 92 in terms of AQI. But what is AQI? And it's a very different story in the north of India. Over here in Mumbai, a couple of weeks ago, it was 47, 48, which is actually fairly decent in terms of AQI. Right now, we come under satisfactory by any neutral, dispassionate, analysis of the air pollution levels in the city. Delhi has crossed 400, 500, and some independent reports say even all the way up to 600 and 700. This happens every year. But what is it that you can do to prevent some of the harm that this is causing to you and your families? What are some of the tech tips and tricks, some certain measures and hacks that you can use? And more importantly, what's the real situation like in Delhi? Here's a Tech 360 special report.
Of the three main basic elements that we need to live, air, water and earth, it is such a dichotomy that if you actually get to see air, it is usually a bad thing. Hello and welcome from this very special feature on Tech 360 from New Delhi, capital city New Delhi, where if you notice, because you can see air, you can't see what's behind me. How do you find the air around here?
Yeah, it's very foggy, yeah. I found it when I was first came to the airport, it's very foggy.
Grey and oppressive and dark and just smoggy.
It's very tough for kids because they play in this pollution and there's a lot of cough and cold for the kids this time.
Currently you can see my eye is pink, and like today morning my brother's eyes was also pink, like both eyes were pink due to pollution.
And old age, yes. This is my father-in-law, he coughs a lot इस मौसम में.
सांस लेने में मुश्किल हो रहा है, सांस लेने में.
Asthmatic patients, उनको तो बहुत ही problem है.
Breathing issues for sure.
It's a great city, but it's just feels
The hard truth.
yeah. It's a shame because it's like, you know, the sights would be so much better without the sort of cloud around it.
We are not able to see a blue sky, so obviously we can find out there is a pollution in the air, which is obviously alarming for everybody.
Look, it was a bit of a shock to come here and to not be able to breathe. We couldn't see the ground when we were flying in, and I was like, wow, is that the air or is it smoke or what's happening?
Now obviously you can hear that all the media says that the AQI is very bad.
When I see on my app and it's 400 AQI or something, I don't understand why this is so high.
That is a really nice question. Now, what is AQI? What does it really mean? What does it show? To answer all of that, I actually have one of the world's smartest AQI monitors in Mumbai right now. Aayush Ailawadi, tech and AI editor for the NDTV network. Also, Aayush, before you answer all of that, can you just make us here in Delhi jealous and tell us what is the AQI in Mumbai right now where you are?
Well, I don't know about smart, but the AQI here in Mumbai is significantly lower. Nothing to write home about, but at 90 to 95 AQI, a couple of weeks ago, we were at 50 to 60 AQI. But what is AQI is the real question. AQI is the standard with which we measure air quality. That's why it's called Air Quality Index, or AQI. So it tells you how clean or how polluted the air around us is, the air that we're breathing every day. We're supposed to take actions based on these numbers. And even government and health agencies use these readings to take due course of action or trigger public warnings or issue some sort of guidance. At strategically planned key areas of our cities, authorities place monitors, AQI monitors, that keep tracking the air around for minute particulate pollutants like fine particulate matter. That's the PM 2.5 that you keep hearing about. Coarse particulate matter, which is PM 10. They also measure ground level ozone, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, SO2, and carbon dioxide. To make it simple for everybody to understand, these sensors keep tracking these pollutants for set time periods. For instance, particles are calculated on a 24-hour average, and so each pollutant's data is converted into a score using scientific methods and calculations, and these measurements are then used to calculate the AQI of a particular spot.
Now this does bring up an interesting observation as well. While collectively we as a society are responsible for bringing these levels so dangerously high, but why is it that controlling it has sort of become my own personal problem? Like I am supposed to take steps of precaution at an individual one-on-one level.
Definitely I have to take precautions of my health. The oxygen level of this in Delhi is very worst. So better to move out from the Delhi and go to somewhere place where the oxygen level and the atmosphere where I can live better.
Talking frankly, we try to use a less of a car. We try to use a public transport.
Staying home is one thing, and company should force work from home. Air purifier can be a solution which like works on homes only.
We are using purifiers at home, especially for elders.
Now my family is also recommending me to buy one.
But speaking of air purifiers, it's not like that. It doesn't work like that. So you can't just ask your best friend which one did you buy and then you buy the same one. That's not how it works. To a particular use case like you, there's actually a science and logic behind it. And for that, again, to simplify that entire process, I would have to refer to the in-house expert, Aayush.
There are a couple of steps involved which you have to follow when you start choosing to buy an air purifier. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Let me put it this way. You know how you cannot effectively cool a large room with a small air conditioner? That's a point to be noted. You must not expect a small purifier to be efficient in purifying a large room or a house or an apartment or a flat, whatever you call it nowadays. In fact, open rooms with windows, open areas can keep pulling more pollutants, thereby making the room even harder to purify, almost impossible, like how you instinctively close the door after you switch the AC on. Same logic. So first, calculate the size of the room or the area that you need purified and then match that area with the CADR number of these prospective purifiers that you're looking at. You can find these clean air delivery rate or CADR numbers mentioned on some of these purifiers. In fact, aim for a higher number which will help account for air changes and other factors like pets, pollen, etc. In fact, if you're near a source of pollution, say industry, already start aiming for a higher CADR. Coming to the type of sensor to choose, a term you will come across a lot generally is HEPA, H-E-P-A. Relax, I'm going to explain it to you. This is the standard that helps capture PM 2.5 type pollutants. Just be very careful to pick true HEPA filters, H13 grade or above, and not anything that is HEPA style or HEPA-like, HEPA-esque or anything. True HEPA. Some purifiers will also come with activated carbon filters, and these will help capture VOCs and other odors. Do remember, these should ideally be placed in such an area of the room from where they can pull air from all around. So, rule of thumb that I follow is not right next to the wall or furniture. Leave a little bit of space. You'll also need to clean the pre-filters periodically, say every 2 or 3 weeks ideally in Delhi, maybe even sooner. And depending on how heavy your usage is, HEPA filters need to be replaced as well. Mine takes nearly a year. Some really top purifiers take even more than that. With moderate usage, they last at least 1 season. In Delhi, like I said, you'll need to do it more often. Now, when it comes to air purifiers, there's a bunch of brands available in the market. In India, this is becoming an industry, unfortunately, which is growing. It's booming. There are more expensive options from Dyson, premium, high on tech. But if you want more inexpensive options, which we'll be covering through the course of the next few weeks, because this is a problem where we're trying to find solutions on Tech 360. There's a value for money option from Xiaomi. That's one that I use personally as well, which is maybe half the price of a Dyson or even lesser. Then you have options from Philips, Eureka Forbes, a bunch of other companies as well. The Dyson comes with a bunch of other features like hot and cool, also cools the room a little bit, better oscillation, better UI. So it really depends on what your budget is and what your use case is. But an air purifier, in a nutshell, is needed given the alarming rates and, well, AQI figures here in India.
I have a follow-up question to that. Listen, what about Sharad Nair at NDTV.com? What about Amardeep behind the camera? What about, these thousands of people who are outside? When we're outside, we can't be carrying air purifiers with us. So are there any alternatives for people like us who are outside?
Tech 360 solution list is always long. We're just experimenting with you as well. A lot of wearable tech solutions come up all the time. Remember the Dyson Zone? I honestly was a fan, didn't really work out. There are players like Prana Air, Atovio, Oxy Halo, and more making personable, portable air purifiers. I don't know how much they work. LG has a Puricare mask, which had become viral on social media. It has a filter right inside the mask. The idea is to create a localized clean zone around your nose. On a theory level, idea level, they all sound good. But honestly, I'm not quite sure how much these particularly work. Tech has surely been trying to help. Most modern cars now come with air filtration mechanisms built into the air conditioning system, which is a big relief, especially when you're stuck in a traffic jam. I know cars like the Kia Sonet and Hyundai Venue have some of these options, but at the higher end, very effective versions, and two that I have seen are in the Range Rovers. With PIVI Pro, you have this whole what the AQI is like and a very effective solution to bring it down, all sorts of pollutants, and also on higher end Mercedes cars. Well, we hope that these are democratized and come with other cars as well, but basically what you're trying to do is minimize your time out exposed to pollutants. So when you're in the car, when you're at home or an office, that's the only way you can stay away from this. And then, of course, there are solutions where you leave the city and go to places with greenery around you and a lot more oxygen, a lot less carbon dioxide. But basically, if you're outdoors, especially in the Delhi NCR region, always have a mask handy. Wear one outside, minimum N95. The higher, the better. If you get one with a layer of activated carbon, even better for you. If you keep changing one after prolonged usage, even better. If you try and restrict your movement outside on days that are tagged as severe, all the apps are telling you this, that is also better for you. If we collectively start taking active steps to cultivate more green areas in our cities and actively work on reducing air pollution, that would be ideal. And if none of this works, like I said, well, you gotta book your tickets or rent a car and head on a long drive into the mountains or near the beaches where a lot of these levels are a lot better. But our practices should be better as well. So we shouldn't be polluting as much. Our civic sense needs to be right up top, and let's use technology to make our lives a whole lot simpler and a lot less polluted. Here in India, we have such a rich heritage, deep mythologies, culture, so much of it, and a very creative workforce as well. But how do we build the next Tomb Raider from here, or an original franchise like GTA? We're all waiting for GTA 6, but here on Tech 360, before GTA 6, we've got a very interesting conversation that I had at IGDC last week, all about building these universes. Start off with maybe a comic book, because comic book culture, manga, anime is so popular now, and then maybe have a video game on it, then build a TV web series, or maybe a movie franchise. How do we build this new transmedia universe? And how will technology really change the whole paradigm? Have a listen. The first question I'm guessing everyone has on their minds is, why hasn't India been able to really lead this revolution?
I've always believed that as storytellers, I think we do a fabulous job. I think India has lacked is in selling ourselves. I think content discovery, especially for Indian content, I think is still a challenge.
No, Indian cinema has been there for 116 years. They have never produced a global property. But animation did in just 20 years' time. So I'm telling you, the AVGC XR is going to create global content from India much faster than you think. What we need to realize is how we are different. You look at India was never a console country. Console gaming never did well, not even today. But we do deliver to console gaming content creation as a service. But if you look at India, we have a 600 million smartphone users today. In December 2026, we will be crossing about 1 billion smartphone users just in 2 years' time.
But I grew up in a generation where we knew Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. When do we get that top gaming title from here, being the origin story of this multiverse universe that we're talking about?
It's about finding that audience. I think today what happens is that as the audience is fractured. So that's what is happening today in the transmedia world, that your audience which has enjoyed playing the game is coming to watch the movie and vice versa. I think it's important to, in many ways, to build perhaps a strong audience on one platform and then see how you can carry them over into other mediums. If you are a fan of a particular title, you would then want to consume it in different forms and formats.
When we talk about AI affecting everyone in the AVGC XR space, in the gaming space, should we be looking at it more as a friend or a foe?
AI has to be looked at, as augmented intelligence at best. It's about how do you choose to use a tech. I think any new tech that comes in, we see it as like a one-pill wonder. That yes, I will give a prompt and I will have the next blockbuster coming out of it. No, it's not going to happen that way, at least not yet. In many ways, you will start seeing how people are smartly using AI in ways where we can make things faster.
But what's more important than AI for our businesses is emotional intelligence. When there are 10 episodes or 8 episodes or whatever, you want to watch all of them within 24 hours to 48 hours. Why? Is because the power of emotional intelligence, not the power of artificial intelligence.
Well, here on Tech 360, we believe in teleportation. So from one coastal city, Chennai, for the top gaming conference, IGDC, to another, we're back in Mumbai, and we thought this is a tech show. And smartphones are genuinely innovating in the last quarter of 2025. This one, especially, and a bunch of others. So after a short commercial break, we'll be talking about some of the top smartphones and top hacks with your existing smartphones on Tech 360. I'll see you on the other side. Two major flagship launches in November, and they look so similar. Actually, they come out of the same stables, but they're very different when it comes to the user experience. This is the Oppo Find X9 Pro, and this is the OnePlus 15. Huge focus on AI, huge focus on gaming. There's, software tweaks on both ends, but how are they different? And is this the flagship you should be investing in 2025? Here's a Tech 360 special.
The Oppo Find X9 Pro is designed with a focus on mobile photography. It has flat-edged 8.25mm design, high durability ratings, and 2 physical buttons including a snap key and a quick button for instant camera access. The phone features a 6.78-inch AMOLED display with ultra-slim bezels, 3600 nits of peak brightness, and 2160Hz PWM dimming for improved comfort in low light. Its camera system includes a 200-megapixel Hasselblad periscope telephoto lens, a custom Ultra XDR main camera with Sony LYT828 sensor, and a 50-megapixel front camera. The device runs on the MediaTek Dimensity 9500 SoC with the Trinity engine and a redesigned vapor chamber for sustained performance. It uses a 7500 mAh silicon carbon battery with 80 watts of wired and 50 watts of wireless charging support. The brand has not yet revealed the pricing for the Oppo Find X9 Pro, but overall it positions itself as a camera-focused flagship. The OnePlus 15, on the other hand, is built around performance. It uses a triple-chip setup with the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 SoC, a dedicated touch response chip, and a separate Wi-Fi chip for more stable connectivity. It supports consistent 120 FPS gaming and features a 165Hz 1.5K display with 1.15mm uniform bezels. Touch response reaches 3200Hz and brightness peaks at 1800 nits, with dimming down to 1 nit for low light comfort. The camera system includes 50-megapixel sensors, the IMX906 main, a 3.5x periscope telephoto, and an autofocus ultra-wide. The Detail Max engine improves sharpness, reduces motion blur, and enhances low-light shots. Video features include 4K 120fps Dolby Vision, real-time tone mapping, O-Log, LUT previews, and an underwater mode using physical buttons. It is powered by a 7300 mAh battery that supports 120 watts of fast wired charging, and 50 watts of wireless charging. Pricing starts at Rs 72,999 for the 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage variant and goes up to Rs 79,999 for the 16GB of RAM and 512GB of storage model.
Now the real million-dollar question is, why two similar flagships being launched almost at the same time by two companies, Oppo and OnePlus, both under the same parent company, BBK Electronics. Now, this company has ended up creating two near identical flagship phones with some differences in design, performance, chips and brand positioning. But here at Tech360, we see this as a very interesting business strategy because it allows the company to cater to two audiences. Oppo appeals to users who value advanced cameras and endurance. OnePlus targets gamers and performance seekers. OnePlus has that loyal, engaged community for so many years here in India, a very popular brand. Oppo, the parent company, now wants to get into the premium space. Hence, this phone comes in. A little different with some of the software integrations and AI, but there is an overlap as well. Similar displays, batteries, and even button layouts. This can honestly leave an innocent buyer puzzled. So here we want to help you out with our Tech360 sort of lowdown on these two flagship devices. Essentially, these are sibling flagships. Just like you had the Terrano and the Duster and Auto, just like you have, well, similar cars coming out of Toyota and Maruti with a few differences, these are siblings as well, but each of them have distinct brand personalities. Oppo, especially this time with their partnerships that have been announced and some of the interesting things they've been doing in the photography space. For photography and longevity is Oppo, and OnePlus, I get confused sometimes with these two, for speed and software polish. Also, OnePlus has been a sort of aspirational brand, even for developers, engineers here in India. A lot of us creators as well have owned a OnePlus device sometime in the past. So it's a clever market segmentation move, masterstroke by this company. But it does blur the line between these brands more than ever. Objectively, which one would you go for? Because they both have their strengths and they're both working on very distinct pieces of the market, but they're very premium to hold. It's going to be interesting because this is the first time OnePlus here in India will be feeling the heat from none other than its sibling Oppo with these two devices. A lot more on these devices. For extensive reviews, Ishan from the Tech360 team has been sampling both extensively, and those will be available on our YouTube channels and all across the NDTV universe. What if I told you that if you lost your smartphone, you're never going to find it again? Let me explain. I need a little help from my friend, which is aluminium foil. So in 10 or 20 rupees, if someone was to steal your phone, you would never find it again. That's because they would use this as what they call Faraday's cage. So if I was to pack this up like my lunchbox today, then this whole setup would block every sort of signal, cellular, Wi-Fi, and even GPS. And basically this iPhone is off the grid. Let me show you how it works. Here I have Find My connected to this device. And even though the last location is here, if I were to maybe play a sound on this device, would it show up? And there you go, sound pending. That's because it cannot connect to this device. Apple's Find My might be some great tech, but it uses Wi-Fi signals and cell phone towers to triangulate and find out, and other iPhones to find out where your devices are. But a simple hack like this means your brand new iPhone is off the grid and maybe somewhere in the middle of Russia or China or God knows where. In India, cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, Chennai and Kolkata report thousands of iPhones being stolen every year. Between January and September this year alone in 2025, verified complaints nearly touched 40,000. And that's just the official number. Some people don't even report it. They're so disheartened. The only absolute protection is you keeping this with a lock and chain in your pocket. Maybe get those new straps that Apple and the other companies are selling and keep your phones safe with you. But in terms of software hacks, what you can do to protect yourself is turn on stolen device protection from your settings. It adds an extra layer of security when your phone detects unusual activity. Make sure that Find My is enabled for whatever it's worth and that activation lock is active. So even if someone resets your phone, they cannot use it. In fact, an error message should show up saying, give me my phone back, call me on this number, because, well, you've just committed a crime. For more tips and tricks like this, stay tuned to Tech 360. Well, there you go. We show you the good, bad and ugly of tech here on Tech 360. If you've invested in the latest iPhone, no matter what tech can do, some age-old solutions, maybe just chain the phone to yourself. Be very careful about it because honestly, that's a whole different economy when you lose your iPhone. That's what we wanted to show you. Maybe show you the problem and you come up with a solution. Send them to us as well on our social media handles. Another action-packed episode of Tech 360 draws to a close. I'm your host, Aayush Ailawadi. I'm going to be reloading, rebooting and seeing you same time, same place next week. Adios.